What do you think is one of the largest misconceptions that people have about trauma, coming from a place of very little knowledge in the space of mental health? What's a common misconception?
Yeah, a couple come to mind. One is that, oh, it happened so long ago. Like you were only 3 years
Mm,
old, like you were 5 years old, or that was 20 years ago. The conception or the idea or belief that it happened so long ago,
hmm
you should be fine by now, or it shouldn't have really touched you because you were so young. What could you even remember?
hmm
Um, Now, again, it's like my experience and exposure has primarily been with childhood trauma, which is just has some nuances versus trauma that happened as adults. And so I think that whole idea of, let's say we're working with or we're caring for or we're interacting with whatever our context is in relationship to a middle schooler.
hmm
And they've been in a safe environment, let's say, since they were 10 months old, right? So maybe the first 10 months, like it wasn't a safe or it was chaotic or it was disruptive. But like since 10 months old, we know they've been pretty stable.
mm,
We cannot ignore those first 10 months. And even what was the pregnancy like with that child or that individual?
right.
Um, so I think a common misconception is oh, well, if it happens so early on, they won't be very touched by that. When actually, if you think about anything that you know about child development, so a couple of things is right. When you think about early on, if you've been around an infant, if you have an infant, if you've cared for an infant, you know how needy they are, right?
hmm
Early on, like you, the adult, are the epitome of keeping them alive and safe, fully dependent. So when you think about how needy they are in a good way, in a thoughtfully designed way, when there's something that's not available at that time, or when there's something that was chaotic or unsafe, like we're also absorbent in those first
mm,
months of life, right? Like think about how quickly little ones learn language skills or like fine motor skills or all of those things. It's like our brains are just sponges early on.
right.
So therefore, if there's negative or toxic or stressful or chaotic experiences, events, there's a huge impact to that, even though they might not explicitly remember, oh, at 5 months old, this really horrible thing happened.
hmm
The body and the brain absorb that and are absolutely impacted by it. So I think that's a really common misconception of it happened so long ago.
hmm
Um, the other one I think that comes to mind is maybe kind of to the other extreme is you'll never progress from your trauma. Like, oh, if you've got major trauma, like you're kind of ruined for life.
Right.
Now, there's a whole spectrum here. I would say, yes, that person may always be impacted by their trauma, just due to the nature of our design, our bodies, our brains, how intelligently they remember and
hmm
store memories. But to kind of counter that, we also have so much information and research and data and long-term research and long-term data, right? Not just new and fresh, but about how our brains and our bodies can heal.
mm,
Um, there's certainly different levels to that. There's kind of like the mind thinking level of healing. There's the biology, physiology level of healing, right? There's the emotional, relational level of healing. Like there's all of these levels to it. So there's not like a quick formula for you.
hmm
But we do know without a doubt, there's so much hope for true, genuine, authentic healing as well. So
hmm
those are two misconceptions that do come to mind.
Yeah, that's easy to get lost in, especially as we're working with very vulnerable populations. So every
Mhm.
woman on this call is in the trenches
Yeah.
with people that I would say the vast majority, if not all, have experienced trauma in some way, shape, or form. And I think that's a really good call out that you make of it happened so long ago. And even these mothers that are now raising children who at very young ages are experiencing some form of trauma.